The American dream has been alive for as long as America has. Let's look at how it's evolved throughout history. We begin with the Puritans in the 1630s. They came over to America for a fresh start or a rebirth in their religion. They needed to get away from the corruption in Britain. The people of Salem developed a theocracy, a combine of state and religious power whose function was to keep the community together and to prevent any kind of disunity that might open it to destruction by material or ideological enemies, the crucible. About 100 years later, we see the development of our very first government. The colonists came over for similar reasons as the Puritans. They saw a land and they saw an opportunity. Eventually, the dream evolved and they grew restless on the East Coast. The gold rush hit and the move west erupted, the manifest destiny era, the dream to settle somewhere and make a life for themselves. Now let's fast forward through World War I, and we hit the big 1920s. An era for extravagant, over-the-top, all-consuming lust for money, success, and fun. We saw this in The Great Gatsby this year. The lights grow brighter as the earth lurches away from the sun, and now the orchestra is playing yellow cocktail music and the opera of voices pitches a key higher. The dream at this time was to get rich and party. And this leads us right into the Great Depression. Now it's not about wealth and extravagance, but where your next meal was coming from. The dream was to be able to live and support yourself and your family, to just be comfortable. In the novel of Mice and Men, we see Lenny and George's dream. Someday we're gonna get the jock together and we're gonna have a little house and a couple acres. Then we hit World War II, where the dream becomes America's sole purpose, the fight for democracy and freedom for all across the world. The fight against communism lasts longer than the war itself and was a major part in America's motivations and dreams for a long time. There was a major shift in the American dream after World War II. Now it's all about having a steady job, owning a home, a nice car, and having a nice wife or husband. Then in the 1960s, we hit a revolution of the social norms. Clothing, music, drugs, sexuality, formalities, and civil rights all see a change in this time, the decade of social disorder. The dream has evolved to focus on the younger generation and has become a dream of self-discovery and breaking free from the cookie-cutter norm. The 1960s kind of bled over into the 1970s. The dream stays relatively similar. The changing continues and the fight for minorities lives on. Oh, and we get disco. America becomes very materialistic in the 1980s and 1990s. Technology is quickly evolving and increasing. People become obsessed with the things America is producing. The dream changes from moral and political rights to material possessions. Now, what is the American dream today? I would say it's a combination of it all. The desire to make a good life for yourself, have a happy family, a successful job, enough material things to keep you in the loop. I also think that people want to leave their fingerprint in this world. They want to do something that is successful and worthy. Everyone does that in their own way, but that is part of the dream. The American dream has evolved throughout the past 300 years and will continue to evolve until the end of time.